Please welcome one of our favorite storytellers, told many, many stories, Ryan Howell.
I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in mystical things, but every once in a while in my life events occur that make me seriously question my skepticism. These bones, this skeleton of mine was born fragile, they said. These bones were born weak and would have a tendency to break, the doctors told my parents when I was born. These bones, my bones, had a problem with them. They told my parents that most babies when they're born, their clavicles aren't fused, their collarbones aren't fused to help ease birth. But I had collarbones that would never fuse. They said the soft spot on my head would take years to harden. They gave this name a disease, or this disease a name. They called it clideocranial dysostosis. These bones would be fragile for all my life, which meant that I couldn't do a lot of things that other kids could do when I was growing up, the doctor said. And they were right. They said I couldn't play sports, and so I lived in fear my entire childhood of my body breaking. And then in college, I met a girl who had a heart transplant. And the doctors told her that she couldn't do all the things that I couldn't do. And I thought, oh, I'm going to ask this girl out on a date, because that would be a good match. But I go up to her and I say, hey, do you want to go not out with me and not do anything at all? Because neither of us can do anything, and I figured two broken people would be a good match, and maybe two broken people would make one whole. And she looked at me kind of taken aback, and she said, I'm not broken. This borrowed heart of mine might not like being in my chest from time to time, and it might attack me at random moments. But I'm not going to let this borrowed heart slow me down. I'm going to live a life that is fulfilled, that has joy, that has adventure, that has love and has passion. This borrowed heart will not slow me down. I do not fear this borrowed heart. And no, I don't want to go out with you. Not too many nights after that. I was lying in bed, and I was somewhere in between that point of consciousness and dream. And I hear out in the hallway several young little girls giggling right outside my bedroom door. Like, you know when girls are young and they're at a tea party maybe, and they whisper into each other's ears and then they turn away? That was happening right outside my door, and I couldn't figure out why they were there. And then I heard a voice, as clear as I've ever heard a voice in my own mind, not whispered into my ear, but whispered into my body, like it was just always there. And it was that girl with the borrowed heart. She said one word to me, goodbye. And that was it. I went back to sleep. I awoke the next morning to a phone call from a friend. In the middle of the night, the girl with the borrowed heart had gone into the hospital. Her heart was refusing to live in its home any longer. And the crash cart that the doctors and nurses rolled into the emergency room where she was at when they heard that heart monitor go beep, failed to do its one and only job to bring that heart back to life. And the coma that she slipped into when the doctors did an emergency procedure to try and wake her would not be woken up from that coma. And she was gone, and she had died. What the hell had happened the night before? Why were those little girls giggling outside my room? Why was her voice inside my head? I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in mystical things. But every once in a while, I seriously question my skepticism. The funeral was not too long after that. And as I sat there, I thought of her fragile borrowed heart. And I thought of my fragile bones. And I thought of her love of life and passion and joy. And I thought of my utter fear of absolutely everything, of breaking, of experiencing excitement and adventure. And I thought of all the bones that I would break eventually, that I would come to break. A broken knee at football, another broken knee at racquetball, a broken leg at running, a broken arm at wrestling, a broken nose at baseball, a broken finger at kickball, of all things. And I thought about what bones I would break next. I don't know why she came to me in my head that one night. We weren't particularly close. Obviously, she wasn't very fond of me. She didn't want to date all of this. But I like to think that she came because she knew that I needed to overcome that fear of my own body. She knew that I needed to learn to live a life that was full of joy and passion, adventure. Because all of those things are worth the occasional broken bone. Thank you.